Coming out of a 2022 season where the Mariners finally broke the playoff drought, everyone assumed that Jerry Dipoto and company were going to go out and make some splashes in terms of free agency. Yet here we sit at the beginning of 2023, and the biggest free agent signing that the Mariners have made this offseason? Trevor Gott for $1.2 million. It's completely fair to think that Mariners fans expected a hell of a lot more out of this offseason. And don't get me wrong, adding Teoscar, Hernandez, and Kolten Wong to this lineup is a pretty good bet to help the Mariners make the playoffs again in 2023. Both players on short-term, one-year deals and are free agents after 2023, barring an extension of course, so the Mariners definitely helped out their 2023 roster. But what about 2024, 2025, and the ever-dreaded 2026? MLB Trade Rumors took a look at this situation for the Mariners in an article titled Looking at the Mariners Payroll Situation, where they cited an article from the boy Ryan Divish. On the last day of 2022, Divish posted an article called What to Make of the Mariners' Lack of Spending So Far in Free Agency. And we have this ominous picture here of John Stanton. Divish notes that Dipoto is standing behind the idea of draft, develop, and trade, and of course extending players as a method of building a team versus the big splash moves of free agency. Dipoto has always said, we use free agency in a way to augment our roster, not in a way to build it. But this is the most important paragraph from Ryan Divish. He said, but multiple MLB sources have indicated that he isn't operating with the payroll flexibility that was widely anticipated following a 2022 season that saw the Mariners draw 2.287 million fans, which was the second highest since 2008, and the emergence of Julio Rodriguez as the organization's biggest superstar and maybe most beloved player since Ken Griffey Jr. So Divish is saying that Dipoto is working with kind of somewhat of a payroll constraint, that maybe John Stanton isn't coughing up as much money as everyone had hoped that the Mariners would be. And of course, going into 2023, we all expected the Mariners to make their team a lot better. But watching all the other teams in the American League West get better around them, it's honestly tough to say that the Mariners are for sure at least the second best team in this division right now. I know you guys are going to give me flack for that in the comments. I understand it. I welcome it. I'm just saying there's a good chance that they are maybe third or even fourth best in the American League West at this moment. I know, say what you will. Now let me read you part of this MLB Trade Rumors article. It said, despite their wide open payroll outlook, however, they haven't been major players in free agency. That, reports Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times, is due in part to ownership placing unexpected limitations on the team's spending this winter. Divish cites multiple sources in indicating that the current limitations are being put into place with an eye towards spending next winter when the free agent class is deeper and when the club has even fewer commitments on the books. Man, that's pretty crazy that they're saying next winter at the end of 2023. Only problem is, this is an article from January 21st, 2021, meaning that next winter would have been 2022. Again, Divish cites multiple sources are indicating that the limitations are being put into place with an eye towards spending next winter, so the winter of 2022 going into 2023, when the free agent class is deeper and when the club has fewer commitments on the books. Bruh. Listen, I understand not wanting to break the bank. I understand the Mariners not going out and spending a ton of money on someone like Aaron Judge or Trey Turner. I get that. But with that being said, there are players that have been on this market that the Mariners could have spent money on that would have made their team so much better, and it wouldn't have even been that big of a deal. But instead, the Mariners chose to sit on their hands with, once again, the idea that John Stanton is limiting the amount of money that Jerry Dipoto has to spend in 2022 free agency. The Mariners did go get Teoscar Hernandez and Kolten Wong. Yes, they did. And then we had someone like Jeff Passan saying the Mariners fans are being greedy because they want to add more to this team. In my opinion, it is totally fair, especially after years of hearing this BS, that the Mariners are going to look towards next winter to spend, that they're going to use this money next winter, that they're not using it, that they're not going out using that money to make their team incredibly better than it was in 2022. Here's an article from October 7th, 2021, at the end of the 2021 season. When talking about making the team better, Dipoto said, we'll visit every avenue to do that, whether it's the free agent market, the potential for trades, but we do have payroll flexibility and we're going to use it to go out and make the team better. And in 2022, I kind of think that they did by adding someone like Eugenio Suarez. He was one of the big deals. Also, of course, Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray wasn't as great in 2022 as we all hoped, but nonetheless, they put their money where their mouth was and spent some money to make this team better. Dipoto said going into 2022, that's going to give us a ton of flexibility going into this offseason because it allows us to find additional offense without having to focus on one specific position. And here's an article from 2018 that Dipoto talked about after trading the likes of Cano, Segura, and everyone else. He said the payroll we have pulled back can be better purposed when we get to our open window. We didn't really make the 2019 team any cheaper, but we are making the 2021-2022 teams considerably more flexible with these deals, and that's a part of the idea to put ourselves in position where our young players are out there on the field. That team can be augmented by free agent markets for what we would view as a free agent market as, which will be to finish a team, not to build one. And Jerry Dipoto has already built the team. We have someone like Julio Rodriguez in center field, JP at short. We, of course, now have Kolten Wong at second base, Ty France over at first, Eugenio Suarez at third. We have Teoscar, and right now we have a great pitching staff. But augmenting the team has not happened. Augmenting the team would be adding depth to this team for the Mariners. It would be adding someone that could take a day or two from Ty France at first base so that he can basically just rest for the part of the season so he can be healthy throughout the whole thing. At this point, if Ty France suffers a season-ending injury or something, I think I might have to go play first base at this point. I don't know who the hell else is going to go play first base for the Mariners because they have no depth. They're putting a lot of their eggs in one basket because with someone like Ty France, if he gets hurt, no one's going to play first base. If you lose Eugenio Suarez for a while, who plays third? Dylan Moore? You don't want Dylan Moore starting every day. Who plays third base for you? If you really want to augment this roster, you need to start adding some players. And of course, yes, I know there is still some time left in free agency. And of course, Jerry Dipoto can make some trades. And I fully expect him to. I do. And I know if you're listening to this part, you're like, oh my God, this guy he's complaining, but they're not even done. The cake's not even cooked yet, or whatever it was that Joe Doyle said. I love you, Joe. You're great. But as Mariners fans, I think that we all have to be treated better than this. Having empty promises of we're going to spend money and then having John Stanton tighten his little purse and say, oh, never mind, you guys can only spend $140 million this year. Sorry. When you have a team that is one of the most exciting in baseball right now, one of the youngest teams in baseball that just made the playoffs for the first time in 20 years. You have the All-Star game in 2023. There is so much going right for the Mariners right now. You have one of the best players in baseball in center field. You have some of the best young pitching in baseball. You just signed Luis Castillo to a big extension. You are in the best spot possible. You're never going to be in a better position than now for this window to be open to start winning baseball games. This is a team whose payroll should be up in the top 10. Dipoto said that he views them as a near top 10 for payroll in baseball. You look at the power rankings released by MLB and they say that, yeah, the Mariners are in the top 10 power rankings. But if you want to get higher up in those power rankings, you need to make your team better. Teoscar Hernandez and Kolten Wong should do that. Of course, they should. But we said the same thing when the Mariners went and got Adam Frazier. We said the same thing when they went out and got Jesse Winker. These guys could just as easily flop as Adam Frazier and Jesse Winker did. Of course, both of these guys have a longer track record, and I don't think the same thing will happen twice. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, right? But as Mariners fans, we deserve better. We have been told time and time again that the time is now for the Mariners, that they're going to go out and get somebody. Like last year, people were telling Divish that the Mariners were going to spend in 2022. So far, they've spent $1.2 million on Trevor Gott. The old adage for the Mariners was, well, at least there's always next year. But the thing is, with there always being next year, is when we get to next year, it's this year again. We get to the next year, we get to tomorrow, and then it's just today again. Tomorrow never comes. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? No, I should have probably edited this out. All right, well, I'm keeping it. There's always next year, Mariners fans. Well, here we are in 2023, and we're still waiting for the Mariners to make that move that we think is going to make them better. People are making fun of Mariners fans for trying to go get Brian Reynolds, but at this point, the Mariners should expect nothing less. The Mariners fans of Seattle should be expecting nothing less than for the team to actually go out and make this team better. And I don't just mean a little bit here and there, like adding like a Brandon Bell. I mean actually making this team better to the point where they can compete for a division title. Right now, we're just playing catch up with the other teams for trying to get a wild card spot. Listen, this video made my blood pressure rise a lot. One thing that we all know is that we love the Mariners and we all want to see them succeed. And we've been through this before as Mariners fans, and I think that we can get through this one too. Again, I think that Jerry Dipoto will make this team better. I think that however the Mariners can find a way around this, they're going to make this team better going into 2023. But I'm just speaking for all of you. We're all very frustrated and we get that. As of right now, the Mariners roster has projections out from Steamer, and we took a look at that in this video here. I want you guys to go check that one out. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.